Hi everyone, it's Will Tonner here from Lampate Audio again, back with episode 3 of our Redesigning Doom series, and today we're going to be looking at 2 new weapons. We'll be looking at the Gauss Cannon, or Gauss Cannon, depending on probably what part of the country you're from and how you read it, and we're also going to be looking at the heavy assault rifle, and that's both of the assault rifle mode and the micro missile mode. So let's go straight into the Gauss Cannon. So as with all the other sounds, we've got it grouped into our red folders. So we've got a mech sound, we've got our energy body, and we've got our energy detail, and our third energy base as well. So sort of 3 levels for the actual main firing sound, and then everything to do with the mechanism in its own folder. Let's listen to those sounds on their own first of all. Yeah, so quite a few sounds in this one. I think, in fact, out of all the sounds that we're doing, this one probably has the most individual layers, so you can see. Let's go through them and how we're building our sound. So we'll start with the mech. Listen to the mech side of it on its own first of all. Yeah, so first of all, let's have a look at what we've got here. Our main mech sound is the core body of what we've got. So if we solo that out, yeah, that actually creates most of the sound itself, most of the sonic content's involved in just that one sound there. And then what we do is sort of augment that sound, because I think it's a designed sound, so it's not exactly a source recording, it's something that from a library that's already got quite a bit of manipulation to it. So what we want to do to make it our own is add sounds on. You've seen how the Gauss Cannon works. There's actually quite a lot going on with the weapon and the animation on the screen when you fire. So like I say, let's augment that and add a little bit to it. So first of all, we've got this lever, which is sort of a big clunking sound. Yeah, so that gives us a bit of weight behind the object. We've got our metal hit, which is like the initial jerk back action. Yeah, and then we've got another metal sound. So that's a bit more rattly. There's a bit more of a sort of looseness, like you can hear the individual components rattling around in that. It's almost like a loading sound. In fact, if we look what it is, lever sliders. Yeah, it sounds a little bit like loading a VHS in, or loading an old tape. Yeah, so that gives it a very sort of mechanical, almost like servo element to it. And then metal C. That's like a reload. It's like sort of, yeah. Let me have a look at what we've got processed on that. So I jump into the effects. So basically, it's just a low pass, isn't it? Let's turn that off and see what the original sound sounds like. So it's actually a very bright and shiny sound. But if you had that sound there in with the rest of it, and unprocessed, it doesn't sound right. It's too loud. It's too clear. It's like it's right next to you. It's not. It's supposed to be a servo element within the main gun. So yeah, let's turn that back on. And then we actually do have a servo sound. I believe it's quite far down in the mix. So not much going on there, but you'll see that it actually chimes in with the animation. There is a small mechanism that turns exactly as that sound kicks in. So it does sync to picture, but it's quite far down in the mix. We don't want to draw too much attention away from the rest of the sound. And then we've got this pressure, which again is synced to the mix. Yeah, so it's like a sound of a quick bit of hydraulic air escaping the system, and if you look again at the animation, you'll see there's a bit of air that sort of spurts out the side of the gun once you fired it, not straight away but towards the end, almost like it's decompressing, it's like it's cooling down. So that's the mech sound. If we move on to the some of the actual main energy sounds, so we've got body, detail and bass. Let's start with body, which is sort of the mid-range and the main content of the gun. We'll have a look at what that contains. So we've got this blaster shot. That gives it our initial kick. We've got this bass hit, which is the well, obviously the sub content. We've got our squelch high. And then we've got the same sound underneath it, squelched low, which is processed. Yes, they complement each other quite nicely. You've got the bottom one giving most of the mid, and then the same sound again, but this time focusing on the highs and enhancing, distorting some of those highs. So that's the body sound altogether. And then energy detail. That sounds like this. So you can hear straight away it's much more of the higher end. It's like the high mids and treble, and that consists of got these tail sparks which just kick in right at the end of the sound. I'd be interested if there's much processing on that. Well, yeah, quite an easy one to understand what's happening here. Basically carve all the bass out and enhance the highs there. Although there probably wasn't much in the first place to be fair. Oh yeah, a little bit. I much prefer it like that with the bass carved out. It's more sort of in your face, you know. It sounds like it's right next to you. It's a brilliant recording as well. Yeah, so we've got a sort of wind down effect. I think that's courtesy of Reaper's stretch markers. And then what I always do, and we can untick preserve pitch when changing rate, and that gives that effect. If I turn that back on and apply, and you get this really strange sound. It locks it in at minus 31 semitones, regardless of how fast it's playing. So here it starts at 2.93, and then it arcs all the way down to one time. And that's what gives us that sort of effect. And then amp servo. That's an interesting sound. So what we're using there, again, we've got a fuzz wire on it, again, like a really heavy amp sound. If we turn that mix down, and we'll turn it up as we go along. That really changes that sound, doesn't it? It's completely different before it gets put through this overdrive effect at quite a heavy level of overdrive as well. And then finally our energy bass, which is just a couple of sounds, and we've got our good old synth kick again, courtesy a hybrid, and with max bass there. It's our favourite, isn't it? You might notice versus the other sounds, the other times we've done this, we've actually got quite a bit of a distortion on there. Normally we have it clean, but this time there's a bit of roundness to it. You hear that sort of square wave effect, and then the energy shot. So that's the real kicker, and it's got a bit of an energy tail as well at the end of it. They're the components of our Gauss Cannon. So when we hear all of those together, that's what we get. So we'll keep those for now. We'll bounce them down, and the individual mech, energy body, energy detail, and energy bass, and then we'll go and hear those over in Wise, see what they sound like on their own. But before that, let's kick over to the heavy assault rifle and look at how that's been broken down. So let's start with, like I said, there's two different modes. So we'll start with Fire A, which is the sort of machine gun, the standard mode of fire, and this is very similar to the chain gun in terms of we're going to design the individual bullet sounds, and then in Wise we'll have them fire. Now it's a higher rate of fire than the chain gun, although the bullets aren't as powerful. So you'll certainly see that in the animation, and actually the showcase itself, we don't see this mode of fire very often. In fact, we only see it once right at the start on the clips, but even so, it's worth designing it so that we've got it there as a gun, say we want to overlay it on another piece of video. So what have we got here? We've got our close, our body, and our mech folders in this case. Let's go over to, and actually you can see we've got quite a few assets. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 versions of this file, and that's because it fires at such a high rate that actually probably want a few more variations than just the 3, 4, 5 that we normally do. So if we have a look at the sounds on their own. So actually you can see very, very similar in the sounds. They are, I believe, one audio file, certainly from the close folder point of view, one audio file of single shots with quite a bit of space in between them. So they are genuinely different recordings. They just sound very, very similar. So let's start with close. Quite a weedy sounding gun on its own, but this layer gives some of the detail. So I won't go through these individually. Just know that obviously it's one file that was just recorded at different on different channels, different microphones. So, and I've just done a little bit of mixing to get the best sound out of those files. And there are plenty more files than just these four, believe me, from the library that I've grabbed these from. So that's our detail. The body is where we get the actual raw hit. And I've got an M4 again. This is an M4 carbine up here, but this is a different recording, much more closer and probably a bit more designed as well. And then we've got this sound, which I genuinely don't know what it is. I just liked it in the library. And I thought the two together sort of really complemented each other. So that's our main body. And then the mech, which is very simply this. So weird sounding on its own, but again, this is the bit that gives the gun a bit of character. So we're not focusing just on the bullet fire, but actually, you know, we've got to bear in mind it's an actual gun that kicks back. So resonant. So this one of my own recordings, metal stick hits, you know, does what it says on the tin. And then we've got a rattle as well. We hear that on all the other ones. Brilliant. And then all those together again. Yeah, so we're going to export those down individually. Again, going to take the layers out, and we will be firing those off one by one in Wise. So finally, let's have a look at HAR 5B instead. So here we are. So more folders again, flames, mech, and explosion this time around. Let's hear the sounds on their own first of all. And this mode, if you've seen the video, is the ability for the heavy assault rifle to fire loads of micro missiles, they're called, one after another. So they're explosive, but you've also got much bigger explosions in the game. So you've got the rocket launcher, you've got the Revenant demons. That's got a rocket launcher mounted onto it. These missiles are actually quite small in comparison. So it's a really difficult sort of sound design question. How do you design something that's big because it's an explosion, but actually it's got to be quite... It's got to be on the smaller side as well, because they get fired off at a really high rate of fire. That's the whole point of them. They are micro missiles, right? So I found actually a lot of it comes down to trimming the sounds down and pitching them up as well, and that gives you still the sound of explosions, but much shorter. And again, just like all the other rapid fire weapons, we're doing the individual shots, and then in Wise we expand them in terms of having them repeat. Let's start by looking at the flames on their own. So you've got that flame sound, and you've almost got like a bit of a techie, you know, energy sound to it as well. The body is the main flame sound. It's almost like a pressure. It's almost like a hydraulic. I believe it's a flamethrower. Yeah, it's a very, very quick burst of a flamethrower sound when we're talking, you know, fractions of a second, and then that leads on into this sort of techie sound, which almost sounds like the missile firing out. So the flame is the you know, the thruster, and then you hear almost like the missile engage itself. That's the sort of sound I'm going for with it launching. The mech is the actual launch mechanism itself. So let's hear that. So we've got the release mechanism. So our good old-fashioned grenade sound. We've got a gunfire, which is a Glock sound, and then we've got this servo as well, which is like the sound of the next missile being loaded in. And then we've got our explosion folder, which sort of complements the flame sound by giving the actual burst of energy as the missile leaves the weapon. So we've got so it sounds like this together. And then the main explode on its own is that mine explosion that we used in one of the other weapons. I think we use it for the shotgun actually to give it a bit of impact. And then this whiz is this sort of spinning, well, it's a firework sound. So if we hear it on the other ones. So the idea is obviously it sounds like it's spinning off into the distance, and all those things together give us the individual sound of one of the micro missiles leaving, but you'll see they leave pretty rapid succession. So that's all of the sounds in terms of the designing part of it. Let's jump over into Wise as we always do and have a look at how we implement the sounds. So here we are over in Wise. So we'll have a look at the Gauss Cannon first of all. So we've got our 4 folders again. Let's just quickly go through them. Our bass sound, the body, the detail, and the mech. And this one's nice and simple actually. All we need to do, if we go over to the events, into the Gauss Cannon, you can see there's one single event, and all it does is trigger off those 4 individual switch containers. Sorry, random containers, I should say. And then I've just done a bit of mixing on the fly to get the sounds just where I want. You can see there's some randomization of the pitch as well. It's a nice view of the contents editor. It's quite useful in this sort of situation where you can literally, if I pin that event, I could actually go into the individual audio and trigger it, keep triggering the event whilst I'm in there. You know, and just say, oh, actually, I'm going to pitch, oh no, just for example, let's pitch the detail. Yeah, you can hear that big effect. In fact, I don't mind that too much, actually. If we bring that up in and even dip it down a little bit further, gives us a completely different sound. Yeah, so it almost sounds a bit broken like that. But yeah, you can do that stuff really quickly and easily and wise. That's why I like it. So just hit Control Z, go back on all of those. And that's it really for our Gauss Cannon event. So quite simple. Now the assault rifle is a little bit different. Obviously we've got a rapid rate fire on this. So let's go into HAR fire A, which is our standard sort of machine gun blast. Quite simple to set this one up actually. All you need to do is what we did last time with the chain gun. We don't have that revving effect that the chain gun has, so actually the gun starts firing at the rate that it consistently fires out for the whole time you fire in. So it's quite simple really. And you can see actually all we've done is set the trigger rate to 0.09 seconds, and I've done that for body, close and mech. So if I fire them off, you'll hear what they sound like. Remember to unpin the Gauss Cannon. There's our body, close, mech. Yeah, and because we've set all of those up on the trigger rate, it means that when we go over to the event, and the event is fire a start, then all it's doing is saying, right, fire those 3 switches. It's random containers. I've got a habit of saying switch, haven't I? And then after 2 seconds, post a stop event, and the stop actually, just stops those containers. So it sounds like this, and then it stops. So I'll export those. I'll give myself 5 or 6 copies of that, and I've got some nice loops that I can play with. I could set that to be longer. It's just a case of dialing this number up here to print out the file at the length that I want it to be. But it is just as simple as that. Let's have a look at 5B. So again, we've got our 3 different layers to it. The trigger rate in this case is 0.15 seconds rather than 0.09, just because it does fire a little bit slower. Let's hear the explosions first of all. Then the flames. And the mech. And again, our event, all it does is plays all those 3 containers, and then plays a stop after 6 seconds in this case. So let's hear that. And that's it for the hits, for the fire. Sorry, we also do have a hit sound that I created. I'll be honest, for hit A, all I've done is taken the chain gun. If you remember the chain gun hit sound, which went like this. For the metal sound anyway, and then we had a flesh variant like this. What I've done is I've copied that over. It still references the same files, but I've just done a little bit of tweaking so that it plays it, I think, at a higher pitch and just tails off a little bit more quickly. So if you hear that on the HAR instead, and on the metal, versus the metal over here. Yeah, you can hear a slight bit of difference in there, but yeah, that's the whole idea, just to pitch it up. It's not as powerful a gun, so it doesn't need to have as much impact from the bullet sounds. And actually, we also have one for hit B as well, which is just a series of hand grenade sounds that I've got set up. If we listen to those. and that's just the sound of those random explosions going off that you'll see in the background of the video. And that's it. So let's jump straight back into Reaper. We'll have a look at what they look like against the video. So here we are back over in Reaper to put our files against video. Just hear what that sounds like. Yeah, let's solo out the assault first of all then. And then we've got our corresponding hit sounds for those as well. So that sounds like this. Yeah, so a bit of metal and a bit of flesh. As soon as the missiles start. Yeah, so there's a bit of panning as well that's going on around there. Let's have a look at the Gauss Cannon. Brilliant. So, another overview of some of the weapons there. So, hope that was useful. By all means, like and subscribe if you found it so. And next week, we'll be looking at doing the rocket launcher and the BFG. Thanks very much. Bye.